your parents think you take too many selfies? Well, did your parents have to take selfies when they were younger? No, they didn't because they didn't have social media. They only had to pose for photos. Now we don't need to take selfies, but in a way we have to because there's a lot of pressure to post new photos. So we ought to know how to pose for them. Here's what you need to do to take a great selfie. You mustn't hold the camera low. You should hold the camera high and stick out your chin a little. Oops. You shouldn't ignore the background. Take lots of photos. Keep the best one. Delete the bad ones. We don't have to keep any bad photos these days. That's all for now. In my next vlog, I'll be talking about Machu Picchu. Send in some questions if you'd like me to answer any. Bye!
Which language does the blogger use to talk about obligation, prohibition, necessity, and advice? We use have to and must to talk about things we are obliged to do. You must remember to bring your camera.
We don't have to keep any bad photos these days.
Do you have to take a selfie? We use need to talk about things that are or are not necessary to do.
Here's what you need to do to take a great selfie. Now we don't need to take selfies.
We use mustn't to talk about things we aren't allowed to do.
You mustn't hold the camera low.
We use ought to and should or shouldn't to give advice.
You should hold the camera high. You shouldn't ignore the background. So we ought to know how to pose for them.
We use had to or didn't have to talk about things we were or weren't obliged to do in the past.
They only had to pose for photos.
They didn't have to take as many photos as we do.
Well, did your parents have to take selfies when they were younger?
Use it. Complete the sentences. Use mustn't, had to, or didn't have to. My grandma had to wear a uniform to school when she was young. Now you try. You mustn't forget to brush your teeth every day. My dad had to work on a farm when he was young. Did your parents have to study a lot after school?